Hey everybody, welcome back to Life with Annie. So we're doing another lunch video today. I think this might be the last one I do for a while. I think I've done a total of 5. And I hope y'all, if you're seeing this one for the first time, I just did like a little series of little lunches that I make sometimes. I don't usually make a big lunch, but sometimes I like to just change things up a little bit. So I've done some easy things. And today we're going to do a 1-pan pasta. I have made this recipe before. I don't think I've made this version before, but I'm sure it'll be just as good. This is the Martha Stewart version, and I'm making a couple of changes to hers because I think the one I did before was a little bit different, and I want to do it that way because I liked it a lot. I would have done it sooner, but I was having issues finding my fresh basil. Now this recipe, I feel like, I just feel like I need the fresh for it. And so that's what I was having trouble. I couldn't find it at the grocery store. I looked at Walmart. I even looked for, how the produce section will have the little basil, fresh basil plants. They had one, and it was on its way out the door, so I didn't get that. So I finally found some fresh basil. Let me close this door real quick, y'all, because Thunder just came in. Hold on one second. Okay, y'all, we're back. So what we're going to need for this, and this is Martha Stewart's recipe, like I said, and it is for 1-pan pasta. You need 12 ounces of linguine noodles, or sometimes I've made it with the angel hair because that's my favorite, but I did buy linguine this time. Okay, so I'm making 3 changes. So it calls for 12 ounces of cherry tomatoes or grape tomatoes, halved or quartered if they're large ones. I usually just do it. The other recipe I do calls for canned tomatoes. That's easier for me, and that's what I'm using today. So that's one of the changes. You need 1 onion sliced, which is about 2 cups, 4 cloves of garlic, a half a teaspoon of red pepper flakes. That's change number 2. I'm leaving the red pepper flakes out this time. I have them, but I'm leaving them out. You need about 2 sprigs of basil. I'm going to probably put a little bit more in mine because it's fresh and I don't want it to go bad. 2 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil plus more for serving. Salt and pepper, which is 2 teaspoons of salt and 1/4 teaspoon of pepper. And her recipe calls for 4.5 cups of water. I've always made it with chicken stock or chicken broth, so that's what I'm going to do today. So let's just get started. I'm going to go ahead and put in a couple of tablespoons of olive oil. My pan is already heated, and you'll need more olive oil for later, like if, when it's done and you want to drizzle a little bit of olive oil over the top. And then I'm just going to start putting everything in here, y'all. So I'm going to start with these onions. Now my oven's probably going to go crazy because it's hot, but we'll get it to cool down. Turn it down. Now that was 1 large onion. 1 large onion. Okay, it's calming down now, so I'm going to go ahead and add in, was it 4 cloves of garlic? Yeah, 4 cloves of garlic. I'm just using the jar because that's what I have. But of course, if you didn't have the fresh garlic or the jarred garlic, you could use powdered garlic. All right, I'm going to go ahead and add in my can of tomatoes. Now, mine is a 14.5 ounce can. I just like that extra juice. All right, it's starting to quiet down now. So we've got our tomatoes, our onion, our garlic. Let's see. I'm gonna go ahead and add in, well, let's do our salt and pepper. And I've already got that measured out here. And that was 2 teaspoons of salt and 1/4 of a teaspoon of black pepper, or was it 1/2? It was 1/4 of a teaspoon. If you add the red pepper flakes, it's 1/2 of a teaspoon. But like I said, I'm leaving those out today. Okay. Now I'm going to add in, it calls for 32, well, it calls, yeah, 32 ounces, well, 4.5 cups of water. This is 32 ounces of broth, so I'm going to add this. If I feel like I need to add a little bit more, I'll add a little more water. And I will put a little bit of water in my tomato can just to kind of get the extra juices out of that, and just put that in there too. There's my garlic. Let's see, so we need to add our basil and our linguine, and make sure I've got everything else in here. I think so. So what I'm going to do, it calls for 12 ounces. And you don't cook it. Well, I'm assuming you don't cook hers. I don't know if I don't think she says cook it. But the other recipe, you put it in uncooked. I break mine. Now, like I said, this is, I think, 16 ounces, so I'll put almost all of it. And I'm going to turn this back up now and get it going. One more little thing. I'm not sure if Matt will eat this or not. I happen to be making this on a day when he's close to home, and he'll come home for lunch, so I will offer it to him, but I'm not sure if he'll try it or not. Okay, so we've got our linguine in there. If y'all are wondering what this is, it's not part of this recipe. This is, I've just made a big batch of thunder food over here. Okay, there we have that. And then I'm just going to take some of this basil, and I'm going to kind of break it just in half. I like the flavor of fresh basil in this, and I'm going to put more than 2 sprigs. Probably. Because I need to use it quickly. Oh, it smells so good. I don't know what variety this is. It doesn't say on the packet. That one in, and I think that'll be good. Okay. So there is our basil. There is our everything, our linguine, our tomatoes. And again, she uses fresh in hers. The original recipe I made, and I didn't really search for it. I just went on Pinterest and put in one pot pasta, and you know, different versions come up, but I've always made it, or the recipe I made it before, always use canned tomatoes. And so yeah, that's what I'm doing for this one as well. That little bit of chicken stock gives it a little more flavor, I think, than just the water, but you could certainly use the water. All right, so we're gonna let this, let me see what it says for directions. You combine everything, bring it to a boil over high heat. Boil, stirring and turning pasta frequently until it is al dente, or whatever consistency you like, and the water has nearly evaporated, which is about 9 minutes, she says. Season to taste with salt and pepper. Divide among bowls and garnish with basil and serve with oil and Parmesan cheese. So that is it. So I will come back when this is finished, and I will bowl up a serving for me and taste it, and we will see what it tastes like. All right, we'll be back when it's done. I just wanted to show y'all it's boiling. It's not quite there yet, but it's boiling. All right, we're getting closer, but you want that liquid to go to the pasta to absorb all that liquid, or for the most part, most of the liquid, because that's what's cooking your pasta. All right, so it won't be too much longer. Okay, so it is pretty much the most of the liquid. I want to leave it a little bit with some liquid in there. I tasted it. The pasta is, I like it a little bit more al dente. You know, we like everything here in the South, or I do, cooked a good while. So usually what I do it with angel hair, which cooks a little bit faster. But we've got our pasta here. I'm going to go ahead and make myself a bowl for lunch. And it does taste good, y'all. I tasted it. I've got the heat turned off now, but now this is a pretty heavy lunch. So I'm not going to have any bread with it. I thought about it and I thought, no, I'll be miserable if I eat that. I'm not going to have anything sweet afterwards. And I'm just going to make me a pretty little plate, a bowl of this pasta. Now I did say I have a little bit of olive oil. It said you could drizzle it if you wanted to, and I'm going to. We're going to be fancy today. Not a whole lot. And I have Parmesan cheese, but I also had some Italian blend, so I'm going to use that because the Italian blend was open. And I'll leave some of this out here if Matt wants to have a bowl of this. So that's what we've got so far. And then I saved a pretty little sprig of basil. And one of the leaves fell off, but that's okay because I'm going to stick it right back in there. And look at that. That is such a good looking lunch, y'all. Looks like I'm in an Italian restaurant right now. Okay, so I've got my fork here. Got my sweet iced tea already made. And let's taste it. I know it's hot. I'm gonna get a little onion. That cheese is just starting to string up on me. I'll get a little piece of tomato. I'll show you what this looks like so far. All right, let's taste it. Y'all, I would suggest, you know, it's not vegetarian because I did have the chicken stock or the chicken broth, but it gives it so much good flavor. But this is going to be a good lunch. I think Matt would like it. He's just got to give it a try. All right, y'all. I hope y'all are enjoying these lunches with Annie during the month. I think I did most of them during the month of April. Some early, some later, some in the middle maybe. I think there's 5 total, and I hope you'll go back and watch them. And maybe it'll give you some ideas for some lunches or suppers. All right, y'all have a great day. Bye.